Ladies and gentlemen, we are here live with another Facebook Live on this lovely, what is today, the 20th of December, right? All right. We are 5 days away from Christmas, and nobody knows that better than you with two young children, right, Brittany?
Oh, yeah. Every morning it's, how many days? How many days?
Right.
So
Well, let me finish. We have Brittany Nickell from Equity Title, ladies and gentlemen. I jumped into talking to you before I finished your introduction. How rude of me. Tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that lovely stuff, Brittany, please.
Absolutely. So guys, I'm Brittany Nickell and I am a marketing rep with Equity Title. I have been with Equity for a little over 11 years, which is crazy to think about. So I absolutely love being at Equity. I've started my whole family while being at Equity. So outside of work, I'm just a mom. We're at sports. Life's a little crazy, but I love nothing more than my job and helping agents grow their business and being a resource for them.
Great. So you must have, so you've been there 11 years. So you started at what, 19, 18 over there?
Oh my gosh. Pretty close, just right out of college. I think I was 22 or I think 22.
Yeah, I was close.
And going into my interview, I literally Googled what title and escrow was. I had no idea.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I had zero clue. So that's why when I'm meeting with new agents and you're getting so much information thrown at you. So I always tell them, don't worry. I knew nothing coming into this interview. So it'll all work out.
But you knew how to market, and that's what's most important.
Absolutely.
That's great. Yes, and just so everybody understands, Equity, we're under the same roof, Berkshire Hathaway, Equity Title, Prosperity Mortgage. We all work together, and that's why it's great for our agents because you know what? They have a vested interest. You guys have a vested interest just like we do to make sure things happen for our customers and clients. And then you are also, like me, I mean, we have basically the same job. Our job is to help agents be successful, correct?
Absolutely, 100%, and be a resource for their business.
Yes.
In any way, shape, or form that we can help with their marketing to help them grow their business, and then in return helps us grow our business. So it's a really true partnership and how I look at working with the agents within Berkshire Hathaway.
It really is, yes. And it's been going very, very well. You, Rhonda, Jamie, I mean, all you guys, Rick, all you guys are incredible. Those are the people I work with. There's more people than that at Equity, obviously. But those are the, you guys are the ones that I'm mostly, working with and so forth. And our relationship has been extremely good. Agents love it. So it's really awesome. And today, your favorite subject, I know you have a different word for it too as well, farming. If you're from New England, wicked farmer. How do you be a wicked farmer in this business? That's farming, by the way, sorry.
Farming is probably my absolute favorite way for an agent to market themselves. 9 times out of 10, when I'm meeting with a new agent, an experienced agent, the number one thing I'm going to recommend is starting a farm. But so many agents don't really understand what farming is or how to be successful and strategic with their farm. So that's one thing I really love about us at Equity Title is that we don't just meet with someone and say, okay, give me an area you think you want to market and I'll send you the homeowner's information. We really set up a whole marketing plan and work to see, what is going to be the best farm for that specific agent. So it's a really whole thought out plan rather than just sending them a list and say, good luck. Let's see how you do with this.
Right. Here's your flyers.
Here's your flyers. Good luck. We really try and work to make sure, again, the agent is going to be successful when choosing a farm. And 9 times out of 10, when I'm pulling farms, it's a geographic area. So it's a geographic farm. We want to focus on a specific neighborhood, subdivision, community that we're trying to drive business out of. And this is where my little term kind of comes into play that instead of calling it farming, I like to call it gardening because the real key to farming is consistency. When you're choosing an area, you want to make sure that you're going to farm and you're going to market to. You want to make sure you can hit those homeowners every single month. And what I find is that a lot of times I'll meet with someone and they say, I want to farm 2,000 homes. Because in the scheme of things, that sounds amazing, but I always ask them, well, can you be consistent with 2,000 homes every single month? And the answer most of the time is no. That's a lot. I was thinking once a quarter. And again, to really be successful, you really want to plan on that once a month. So that's why I call it gardening instead of farming.
Start off a little smaller and be.
Yeah.
I agree.
And by that, I mean maybe like 200 to 500 homes. It's really going to depend on the agent and how they want to market and their budget, depending on how they want to market, that we go in and we kind of choose that right amount of homes for them. But most of my agents and even my top producing agents that I work with, their farms are relatively small. So again, maybe around that 500 mark, because for years and years and years, they can be consistent with that number. And again, that is the key to getting business out of those farms.
But even a farm with 500, and I'm sure that you like when people are picking a farm, you go through the turnover rates. But even the base rate of, let's say, even 8%, which is a good number, but very achievable in Las Vegas. 500, that's 40 transactions a month, right? I mean, a year right there, right? That's a pretty good farm.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up turnover percentages, because aside from the number of homes we want to look at marketing to, that turnover percentage is probably the second most important key. So again, it's not just sitting down, you giving us an address and saying, okay, here, good luck. Like, we really want to do the research to make sure it's a good area for you. Definitely. And when I say the term turnover percentage, we're referring to the percent of homes that are selling every single year within that specific subdivision. Right. And we can help you find that. What I've seen this year, I used to recommend about a 7 to 8% turnover. Now I'm seeing a lot more like 5 and 6%. So it's gone down a little bit. As we know, home sales have slowed just a little bit. So I'm not seeing as high as I was before, but if it's in like the 5 to 6% range, I still consider that good and great to go for. And why that is important is that while I love farming, and I think agents can be really successful within their farms, it does take time. So it's not an instantaneous, I make one phone call, I go and door knock once, and I'm instantly going to get a sale. So when you're farming in an area that has a really low turnover, meaning homes just aren't selling as often within that area, it might take you longer for those sales to happen. So that's why that turnover is important to look at. And there's several different aspects into why some areas have a low turnover. And, I have some agents that actually like that. And most of the time that's if it's in like a new home community where people have just moved in. But that agent looks at it more so that I know no one might sell within the next year and a half. But when they do go to sell, I'm going to be the person that they call because I've been consistently marketing to them over the past year and a half.
Well, even 5% at 500 is 25 homes in your farm every year. That's still and in 5 or 6% in California would be extremely good, right? Now, do you remember, look, I'm going to tell you my theory too, but do you remember when you started with the company 11 years ago? I've been here for 10, so we've been here about the same amount of time. Do you remember what the turnover rates were back then?
Oh, yeah, it was much lower, much lower. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they went up. Like, it wasn't uncommon like a few years ago to find one at 10%, because when we started flooding with people, we became a little transient, people moving in and out. And then now people are actually, my theory is people are staying now much more. Absolutely. So I would say kind of in the craziness when it was all first getting started, there was even some areas where I was seeing like 10 to 12%. Like it was a crazy amount of turnover. And then it just slowly came down a little bit, where again, this year, like 6% is kind of a normal range of what I'm seeing in most areas. Yeah. When I first moved here, I used to call it the fake city because it was all casino. Now we have like real businesses here. I mean, I live in Summerlin. I live 20 miles from the Strip. If I want to go there, it's there. If I not, so a lot of people are realizing that Vegas is a real place. Raise your family, like you. I mean, it's a great place to do that. It really is. Absolutely. So more people are staying. Woo! We'll travel back to Fargo, North Dakota to see some friends. And again, they just think Vegas and we're just on the Strip every night. And wait a second. Did you say Fargo? Fargo. Mm-hmm. Every time I hear Fargo, this is what I think of. Is that your friend in the chipper? I love it. You know that movie? Yes. All right. I digress. I'm sorry. I had to say it. No, you're fine.
But
I
yeah,
didn't
no,
know
they
you were
think
from North Dakota.
I am not.
Oh, okay.
Mark is.
Mark
So
is. Okay.
yes. So every summer we go and visit his, friends and family up there and go to the lake cabin. So it's awesome. But they have a totally different view of Las Vegas, which is,
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny. When I think about it, I don't really think of the strip much at all. I think of all
Yeah.
these amazing communities and neighborhoods, that we have here. And
Yeah, no, it's awesome. No, when I first moved here, I thought I'd be here for a year or two, and then I fell in love with it. And what's happened since is amazing. And now we got a baseball team coming. I'm sure we'll have a basketball team in no time.
right.
Already have the Golden Knights and the Raiders, and look at F1 here now. This place is happening. Woo!
Absolutely. It's only getting better.
It's right. It's getting better every single day, and it's a clean city, relatively safe, I would say, compared to a lot of other places. But we have great appreciation. If you're from California, I mean, the list goes on as far as the
Right.
benefits to move here. And I think you're going to see, I think it's going to start picking up really good after the first of the year too, with all this financial information from the Fed and so forth too. You're probably already seeing a little bit of it in activity for closings too.
Absolutely. So just in, open escrows this week, we've seen quite a big jump. Normally, the week or so leading up to Christmas, it slows down just a little bit, which is absolutely normal. So I was actually very happy to see that this week was one of our busier weeks that we've had in openings, which is a great thing to see. And kind of I know it's not really to do with farming, but for agents, I actually really like it. There's an app that's called Mortgage News Daily, and they write like phenomenal articles on what's going on with interest rates, why things are happening. And then it'll just show like an average interest rate. Of course, that's across the United States.
Right.
So when you're working with prosperity, it's probably going to be much lower and much better. But it's actually been great for me because I'm in title and escrow. So while I hear about rates and things that are going on, I don't completely understand. So it's a really awesome tool. It's completely free. And it just helps you better understand what's happening with rates and where things are going. And then you can better explain to your clients as well.
Cool. Well, yeah, and by the time they get to you guys, I mean, they're hard deals. Like you said, they're open escrows. That's where it all
Yeah,
ends right there, right? So that's good to see.
absolutely.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's great. No, and I think, if you're a first time, if you don't own a home and you're like I was playing golf a couple weekends ago, and I just got paired up with this other twosome, and we, after the third or fourth hole, you introduce yourself, and I'm in real estate. And so he said to me, is now a great time to buy? My first question was, are you renting? Yes. It's a great time to buy. If you're renting your primary residence, you're crazy in Las Vegas. You should
Right.
own. Well, aren't the rates coming down? What do you think is going to happen when the rates come down? The flood of people because of our low inventory. So right now with these rates changing, if you're a buyer out there, get out there, get pre-qualified, get the ball started. You can be in your home before the crazy, because if the rates come down another point or so, all hell's going to break loose. Yeah.
And especially for kind of back to farming, especially agents who are working with maybe some buyers on the fence, things like that. Always know you can farm for your buyers. So maybe you have a picky buyer and they want to be in a specific neighborhood. They need 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and they want a pool. You can email your marketing rep at Equity Title and we can pull a farm for homes that fit your buyer's needs. And you can look for off-market homes for them.
I love that.
No matter what kind of market we are in, I would do that for every single buyer I worked with, because number one, you're showing your buyer that not only are you, looking on the MLS, of course, for available homes, but you're going to market to homes that aren't even on the market to make sure you find them a property. And then number two, when you guys have a listing, you have your sign in the yard, flyers in the box. There's several different ways to get more business off of the listings and sales that you have. So this is a great way to leverage more business from the buyers you work with. Because let's say, even though you send the letter out to, these potential sellers, but your buyer already finds a home, but someone contacts you. Well, now here's a new listing lead for you, because they're thinking about listing their home now in the back of their head. And you can use, all your amazing programs through Berkshire Hathaway, using the buy side saying, yes, this buyer that I was mailing you about already went under contract, but through Berkshire Hathaway, I can see that there's 8 other buyers looking to purchase within this area. So I would absolutely do that for every single buyer I had. We already have a letter drawn up that we can personalize for you guys. So definitely would recommend.
And we have scripts to go along with those too.
Absolutely. And we can
Yep.
order phone numbers and emails. So if sending
I
out a
said,
letter or door knocking is not your thing, you want to make phone calls, we can absolutely order that for you.
yeah, I like if I'm looking, I like the idea of mailing them all out and then going to visit them or even drop the letter off if they're not home, leave it for them because it shows urgency. Plus, think about it in today's market with the low inventory. It's a great way to get listings and make sales by getting out there. That's why see people go, well, farming. Why do you call it farming? Because farming is work. And that's a
Right.
work game, farming, right? Because you got to physically get out there. You got to show your face. You can't be a secret agent if you want to be good at farming.
I couldn't agree more because a lot of times, when I'm sitting down with someone and they say, I just want to do postcards, I just want to do letters, that's fine. And I know that works for some people and they can be consistent with it. But at the end of the day, we have to remember we're in the business of building relationships, just like I am, just like you are. So if we are constantly hiding behind our marketing, no one is truly getting to know us and we're not building those relationships. And then you're also not building trust within them. So when I'm talking to someone about marketing, I try and say, let's mix it up. Okay, so you know that you want to do mailers a couple of times, but then let's also plan maybe a couple of months where, maybe it's not the whole farm of 500, but you're picking out 50 homes and you're going to do a pop by, something small, a pack of gum, some candy with a cute saying. But again, just going that extra step to build those relationships within your farm.
I love that. I love that too. You can do that by the high analytics that you guys offer, most likely to sell. You can even do it by whether they were expired or for sale by owner at one time. Yeah, and we have a great tool for that. If you're gonna like, let's say you're having an open house and you're gonna go out and let everybody in the neighborhood know in your farm, you can target these people with high analytics, these 20, 30, 40, 50 of them, and actually do a neighborhood report out of the VAC, which, as luck may have it, you guys also know how to use too. All you lovely ladies over at Equity know how to use our VAC.
Absolutely. So like when we're ordering, say, phone and email lists for agents, we can help you upload that to the VAC, start a campaign, start sending out those emails. And then to kind of just get back on the analytics with your farm. Again, that's where I talk about more strategic farming. So we can pull by homeowners who are most likely to sell. Again, maybe we just want to hit 100 people within that area. We can pull the top 100 most likely to sell within that farm area. And another one that I really love that we have on our website that I don't know many agents that use is actually by home anniversary. So you can have your farm and then you can narrow it down by anyone who has a home anniversary for that month. And how cool would that be to go in and door knock someone and give them a little something for their home anniversary? How thoughtful is that? And that stuff goes a long way. And again, that might only be 20 homeowners from your farm that month. So it's a very small amount that you can be consistent with, but it's going to make a huge impact on the relationships you're making within.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, what you're talking about, you mean when they download the app and so forth, right? Or maybe you already said that. You can get all those goodies right on there too.
Yes. So our website is equitynv.com and then our app is Equity Mobile. So you do go in and create an account and everything you utilize is completely free, which is awesome. So you guys can create your own farms, create your own net sheets. We actually have a market snapshot flyer, which is great for open houses. So you can do a draw map area of say where your open house is, and it's going to create a beautiful one-page snapshot of that area. Turnover percentages, sales prices, price per square foot. So it's a great marketing tool for agents.
Right. And let's say, just to throw another little twist in there, let's say I'm from Minnesota or, wicked Massachusetts or New York. I can also, right, you guys can help them find homeowners here, which I think it was your idea. I loved it though. When one of you, I think it was you, presented it at Success Series. I thought, what a great idea to market because you have something in common with those people. You used to live in that same state.
100%. That is actually one of my favorite farms. Again, because it's just something different that you wouldn't normally think. We always just think that community or subdivision, we're going to hit every month and that's it. But again, we can get very creative. So it was probably 7 or 8 years ago now. I had an agent who moved here from Wisconsin and he moved out here for work. So he had no sphere of influence. He didn't have any friends. He didn't even know where to begin. So we sat down and he said, well, I'm from Wisconsin. How can I capitalize on that? So we pulled people who own property here in Las Vegas, but lived in Wisconsin. So that means the property here is either an investment property, vacation home. But again, they don't reside here in Las Vegas. They just own the property. And when we pulled that list for him, it was probably only about 30 homes. So a very small garden. And let me tell you, he built his entire business off of that list.
That's
I think
awesome.
the first year he got 3 to 4 listings just from those Wisconsin homeowners. And then from there, he just took off by marketing the properties that he was selling here.
And
So it's
I heard his opening line was, "I'm a cheesehead, are you?" Is that correct?
Yes, we may have added some Packers colors and.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I love it. No, it's great. No, so the key is you guys are versatile, you're flexible, however they want to set up their farm. Geographic is the most simple and I would say consistent. You said something earlier that it takes a little while for farming. In success series, I tell them it's one of the longest ones to get going. That's the bad news. But the good news is it becomes the most consistent once you get it to a certain level. It's like, it's like a plane takes off and levels out to cruising altitude. It's the same thing with a farm. You got to get it up there and then keep it there, and it will be super consistent. And you'll have less competition on all your appointments because they already know who you are.
Absolutely. And, I had an agent a while ago who was farming an area, and he was sending out postcards. And he did take a couple of listings, and he farmed this area for, 2.5 years. And then just as he was getting ready to lose hope in the area, like, I don't know if this is working, so he didn't send out his mailer for that next month. And he got about 3 phone calls from homeowners asking where his market report was. They got so used to seeing that, it became a staple in their home. And then when it wasn't there, they were like, what's happening? So even sometimes as you first get started farming and you feel like, I'm not getting a call back or I'm not having any luck, don't give up. It will happen. Consistency is key. They will call. It just might take a little bit of time. And a lot of times agents, they'll go market a farm once for 1 month and nothing will happen. And they'll say, Brittany, I want to change my area. I don't think this one's good for me. And I always try and tell them, no, just stick with it for at least 5 to 6 months. If we're still not seeing any activity, maybe we can look, but always give it time to grow.
Yeah. And I would say even after 12 to 18, it even becomes more and more consistent.
Absolutely.
And, and I could tell you story after story about people like you just mentioned, that have been going to houses, and then you'll get a call and they're holding 6 of the flyers you left. They never answer the door, but they keep them because they know in the near future they're going to be selling. And then you're qualifying for the job by showing them your consistency. That's really the whole idea behind it.
Absolutely.
Any final words you want to leave these lovely people?
I would just say set up an appointment with us. Again, Rhonda, Jamie, we are all such a great team. And again, our end goal is to help you guys. And so if farming is something you are interested in, please sit down with us and talk with us, because I know it can sound really overwhelming. That's the number one thing when I meet with someone, they're like, I want to start with a farm, but I have no idea where to begin. And that's where we come in and we can help. And again, really get you on a schedule of getting your farm started, getting your marketing going, and then following you through that plan. So don't let it overwhelm you. Let us be a resource and get your farms going.
Absolutely. And I will definitely vouch for that. Jamie, Brittany, Rhonda, the whole crew, they'll definitely help you out. And, with us, with Berkshire Hathaway, it's free. They'll meet with you. They'll set up your farm. Last week was Jamie with social media. They'll help you with your social media. They know our VAC and how to combine them. Like the one thing I would do immediately with everything you just mentioned is in the VAC, use the neighborhood report. And when they open the neighborhood report, it notifies you and you call them as well as all the other things you're doing. So like you have this huge net cast over this geographical area or demographical. If you're having, people from Wisconsin or New York or wherever you're from, it's incredibly, incredibly awesome. And I would recommend you guys reach out to them and definitely do that ASAP. Brittany, thank you very much for taking your time out today.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.
Happy holidays to you and your lovely family. It's so much more fun when you have little critters running around and they're so excited about Christmas.
Yes. Bring on the
All right.
crazy.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. Thank you. Bye, everybody.